Consider the fragility of the human ego. Imagine, if you will, that you are walking through a dense, fog-laden city at midnight. You are alone, or so you think, until a voice calls out from the shadows. It is a stranger, someone you have never met and will never see again. They utter a single sharp insult, a critique of your character, your appearance, or your very existence. In that fleeting moment, something profound and unsettling happens. Your heart rate quickens. Your blood pressure rises. A flush of heat crawls up your neck. The peace of the night is shattered, replaced by a frantic internal dialogue. You begin to defend yourself to a ghost. You carry that stranger's words home with you. You replay them as you try to sleep. You have, in effect, handed the keys to your internal sanctuary to a phantom in the fog. This is the great tragedy of the modern condition. We are psychological hostages to a world that does not know us, and we are puppets to strings pulled by hands we cannot see. We live in a state of perpetual exposure. We have been taught that to be vulnerable is a virtue, yet we have forgotten how to be invulnerable in the classical sense. We are thin-skinned, porous, and hyperreactive. We mistake our emotional turbulence for depth and our sensitivity for soulfulness. But what if there was another way? What if the highest form of self-mastery was not the ability to feel everything, but the wisdom to be bothered by almost nothing? Tonight, we step into the shadows of the ancient library to uncover the art of becoming unbothered. We are not looking for the hollow apathy of the cynic, nor the cold indifference of the narcissist. We are seeking the inner citadel, the fortress of the mind that remains silent and still, even as the storm rages outside its walls. We are here to learn how to reclaim the sovereignty of our own souls. The invisible problem that plagues our era is the social mirror. We have outsourced our sense of self to the perceptions of others. We exist more vividly in the minds of our peers, our rivals, and the digital void than we do in our own skin. This is a form of psychological fragmentation. When we are bothered, when we are offended, hurt, or agitated by the external world, it is because we have granted that world the authority to define our reality. We have fallen into the trap of believing that the map is the territory. We believe that if someone calls us a coward, we must in some way be cowardly. If someone ignores us, we believe we must be invisible. We have lost the ability to distinguish between an impression and a fact. Most people go through their entire lives without noticing that they are reacting to shadows. They believe they are having a conversation with the world, when in reality, they are merely reacting to their own interpretations of the world. This creates a life of constant low-grade anxiety. It is the exhaustion of always being on guard, always trying to curate a version of ourselves that will be immune to critique. But the critique always comes. The world is a chaotic, judgmental, and often cruel place. If your peace of mind depends on the world's approval, you are building your house on shifting sands. You are not a master. You are a leaf in the wind, trembling at every gust of opinion. The roots of this mastery are buried deep in the soil of antiquity. Consider the Stoics, those architects of the human spirit who flourished in the marble halls of Rome and the dusty porches of Athens. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, did not begin his journey in a position of power. He began it as a shipwrecked merchant who had lost everything. In the ruins of his former life, he discovered a truth that remains the cornerstone of mental resilience. Man is not disturbed by things, but by the views he takes of them. This was not a call to suppress emotion, but an invitation to examine the logic behind the pain. The slave philosopher Epictetus took this further. He taught that the only things truly under our control are our own thoughts, impulses, and desires. Everything else, our bodies, our wealth, our reputations, the actions of others, is externals. To be bothered by an external is to be a slave. Epictetus would often tell his students that if someone handed your body over to a passerby to do with as they pleased, you would be furious. Why then do you hand over your mind to anyone you happen to meet, so that if they insult you, you become confused and upset? This is the fundamental irony of human nature. We are fiercely protective of our physical territory, yet we leave the gates of our psyche wide open for any wanderer to enter and trample. But why is it so difficult for us to achieve this state? Why does the sting of a cold remark linger for days? To understand this, we must look into the darker corners of our evolutionary psychology. We are tribal creatures. For the vast majority of human history, to be disliked by the tribe was a death sentence. Social rejection meant being cast out into the wilderness, where predators and the elements would finish what the tribe's silence began. Our brains are hardwired to treat a social slight as a literal threat to our survival. When you feel bothered, your amygdala, the ancient reptilian part of your brain, is firing as if you were being hunted by a wolf. The deeper truth, however, is that we are no longer in the wilderness, yet we still carry the slave morality that Friedrich Nietzsche so eloquently dismantled. We are obsessed with what is fair and just in our social interactions. We feel we are owed respect. We feel we are owed understanding. But the universe owes us nothing. The unbothered individual understands that fairness is a human construct, and to demand it from the world is a recipe for perpetual misery. Arthur Schopenhauer, the great pessimist, argued that our will is a blind striving force that always leads to suffering. He suggested that the only way to find peace is to quiet the will, to step back from the game of desire and ego, and simply observe. Here is the contradiction. The more you care about being liked, the less likable you become. The more you chase the approval of others, the more you appear as a hollow shell, desperate for validation. True charisma and true power reside in the person who does not need anything from the room. This is the paradox of detachment. By letting go of the need to be understood, you finally become understandable. By letting go of the need to be respected, you become a person worthy of respect. Detachment is not the absence of feeling. It is the presence of a filter. It is the ability to look at a searing criticism and say, "This is an interesting perspective, but it does not belong to me." Think of a man who sits in a crowded cafe. Around him, the air is thick with gossip, judgment, and the desperate posturing of modern life. Someone at the next table makes a disparaging comment about his clothes, loud enough for him to hear. The normal reaction is to stiffen, to feel a surge of resentment, to perhaps rehearse a witty retort. But the unbothered man does not even blink. Not because he is deaf, and not because he is suppressing his rage. He is unbothered because he understands the projection of the shadow. He knows, as Carl Jung did, that when people judge others, they are usually projecting the unacknowledged parts of themselves. The insult is not a window into his character. It is a mirror into the insulter's soul. Or consider the woman who is passed over for a promotion she deserved. Instead of spiraling into a week of self-pity and professional jealousy, she returns to her work with the same quiet intensity as before. She has detached herself from her role. She understands that the decision makers are fallible, biased, and operating within their own limited spheres of perception. Her value is not determined by the title on her door, but by the quality of her internal landscape. She has built a life that is not dependent on the yes or no of a corporate hierarchy. She is a sovereign nation within herself. This transformation requires a radical shift in perspective, what the Stoics called the view from above. Imagine rising up from your chair, through the ceiling, above the city, until the people below look like ants. From this height, your personal dramas, your perceived slights, and your wounded pride look infinitesimal. You see the vastness of time and the brevity of a human life. You realize that you are a momentary spark in an infinite darkness. In this context, does it really matter if someone thought you were arrogant? Does it matter if a stranger on the internet disagreed with your worldview? The unbothered state is the result of a grand perspective. It is the realization that most of what we worry about is noise, and our task is to find the signal. To become unbothered is to undergo a psychological death and rebirth. You must kill the part of you that craves the applause of the gallery. You must bury the version of yourself that lives for the social mirror. This is not an easy process. It feels like a loss of warmth. It feels at first like a cold loneliness. But this is the winter of the soul that precedes a true spring. Once you stop caring about what is theirs, you are finally free to focus on what is yours. You begin to move with a different kind of grace. Your actions become deliberate rather than reactive. You speak less, but your words carry more weight. You listen more, but you are not swayed by what you hear. The mastery of this art changes your relationship with time. When you are bothered, you are trapped in the past, the insult that happened an hour ago, or the future, the confrontation you are dreading. When you are unbothered, you are anchored in the present. You are like a rock in a stream. The water flows over and around you, but you remain unmoved. You become a non-participant in the petty dramas of the world. This is the hidden reality of human nature. We are all looking for a master, and the person who can remain calm when everyone else is in a panic is the natural leader of the room, not because they seek power, but because they are the only ones who possess themselves. As we reach the end of this late-night lecture, I want to leave you with an unsettling thought. Most of the people you meet are walking ghosts. They are inhabited by the voices of their parents, their teachers, their peers, and the advertisements they see on their screens. They have no center. They are a collection of reactions. To become unbothered is to become real in a world of ghosts. It is to possess a secret that most people will never discover, that your internal peace is the only thing that actually belongs to you. Everything else can be taken away in a heartbeat. Your health, your wealth, your loved ones, and your life. But the way you choose to perceive the world is yours and yours alone. If you can walk through the fire of life and remain cool to the touch, you have achieved the only victory that matters. You have moved beyond the slave morality and into the realm of the sovereign mind. But remember, this path is lonely. The world does not like people it cannot provoke. The world will try to pull you back into the chaos. It will call you cold. It will call you detached. It will call you arrogant. And in that moment, you will face your final test. You will look at those labels. You will hear those voices. And you will realize that they don't bother you at all. You will simply turn back to your books, blow out the candle, and sleep with the quiet confidence of a man who has finally come home to himself. The question that remains is not whether you can control the world, but whether you can control the internal narrator that interprets the world for you. Can you sit in a room alone and be content? Can you be hated and remain kind? Can you be forgotten and remain purposeful? If the answer is yes, then you have mastered the art. You are no longer a puppet. The strings have been cut. The silence that follows is not a void, but a sanctuary. In the end, The unbothered life is not about being less human. It is about being human in a way that the world cannot break. It is the realization that the fortress was always there, waiting for you to step inside and lock the door. The shadows are deepening now, and the library is growing cold. But as you leave this place and step back into the noise of your daily life, carry this truth with you. You are the architect of your own disturbance. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. No one can ruin your day without your participation. The power has always been in your hands. The only thing left to do is to stop giving it away. Be still, be silent, be unbothered. The world will continue its frantic dance, but you will finally be free to walk your own path, undisturbed by the phantoms in the fog.